the issue should not be whether you should follow Saudi Arabia or not. The issue is that is Saudi citing correct or not. Obviously, when the Saudi citing and the Saudi criteria of commencing the month is incorrect, so therefore it will definitely not be permissible to follow the criteria set down by the Saudis in the commencing and ending of the month. For the sake of unity. This is a question that is so often asked. The question is, can you abandon haqq for unity? But what's the criteria of unity in Shariat? And why should you abandon haqq to get unity? Is it not possible to achieve both? Is it not possible to practice on haqq and bring everybody in unity? The criteria is simple. According to Shariat, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Allah Ta'ala explains to us the criterion of unity in Shariat. Hold firm. Allah Ta'ala speaks about unity, but He Himself sets down the criteria of unity in Shariat, the Quran. He says, hold firm to the rope of Allah and do not disunite. The criteria of unity is haqq in itself. When everybody comes on haqq, most definitely it will translate into unity. This unity is translated from moving away from haqq. Whenever there's one group that follows the haqq and there's another group that doesn't follow the haqq, it would definitely translate into disunity. So the issue is not about abandoning haqq for the sake of unity as though you create the impression that unity is more important than haqq. That is not the issue. Unity is important, haqq is important, and everybody can only be united if all come onto haqq. Follow the majority about it argument. This is one of the weakest arguments that anybody can come across. It would then eventually mean that if you need to follow majority, because majority is the criteria of truth, then the majority of the world is kuffar today. So therefore, Allah Ta'ala also tells us in the Quran Kareem that وَلَوْ أَعْجَبَكَ كَثْرَةُ الْخَبِيثِ. He speaks about following haqq, he's following truth, and then he says that follow that which is haqq, even though the khabith and the wrong may be more, and it is also liked by many people. The criteria is not about majority and minority, the issue is about haqq. Our religious elders are silent on this issue of what is argument. This is such an issue that the ulama and responsible people of the community, not only ulama, even non-ulama, and in particular trustees of the masajid, responsible people of different organizations. It is their responsibility, once they know the truth, they have understood the truth, they cannot remain silent on this. To remain silent on an issue like this is a major sin, as declared as a sin by Allah Himself. Allah Ta'ala tells us in the Quran Kareem, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَكْتُمُونَ مَا أَنزَلْنَا مِنَ الْبَيِّنَاتِ وَالْهُدَى مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا بَيَّنَّاهُ لِلنَّاسِ فِي الْكِتَابِ أُولَٰئِكَ يَلْعَنُهُمُ اللَّهُ وَيَلْعَنُهُمُ اللَّاعِنُونَ. Allah Ta'ala says that those people who conceal the haqq, who suppress the haqq, after the haqq has become clear and known to them, they do not tell it to the people, they know what the truth is. Then, أُولَٰئِكَ يَلْعَنُهُمُ اللَّهُ. Such people, Allah curses them. And the curses, referring to the malaika, the malaika also curse such people who know the truth, but they conceal the truth, they don't talk about it, and they do not expound it. Because concealing the truth on an issue as great and as important as this is affecting an important aspect of deen. And therefore, those that are silent on this, their attitude is not correct, it is not appropriate, and it is the responsibility of everyone who knows the truth on this. They should expound it and talk about it and propagate it. This is more important for the ulama. The ulama cannot be silent on this. And at the same time, it's the responsibility of the trustees of the masjid. I had to say some words regarding that today with my understanding and my observation of the matter. Unfortunately, I have observed that on one side you have ulama, and mashallah, when the ulama apply the mind, it is absolutely impossible that they do not understand a matter as clear as this. But many of them are suppressed due to the circumstances that they are faced with. In many masajid, the trustees of the masajid do not play their role. Their responsibility is not to control the ulama. Their responsibility is to conduct the smooth running of the masajid. Ulama must be given the platform where once they understand the truth and haqq, they must be free to propagate it, talk about it and expound it. The mouths of the ulama should not be silent. The mouths of the ulama should not be locked up by undue pressure by trustees and other people that are responsible for their employment or for their position in the masajid. This does not translate to academic honesty. It is the responsibility of the trustees of the masajid that they are given an amanat. They are given a trust. Their responsibility is to ensure the masjid runs. The imam of the masjid, he propagates haqq, and haqq is expounded from the masjid to the different parts of the world. The moment the trustee of the masjid comes in between an alim and stops him from talking haqq and expounding the haqq, that is clear oppression and that is zulm. Not only upon the alim of the masjid, but also upon deen and shariat. And such trustees who are guilty of that, when they know what the haqq is, when they know what the truth is, they do not allow the alim to talk about it, then they are guilty of khiyanat. They are guilty of embezzling an amanat which Allah has put onto their shoulders. It is not jaiz, it is not permissible for such people to be holding the position of trust. Trust is an amanat. When people of position, when they understand the truth, but they suppress it, they don't give support to the alim, or they become an obstacle for the alim to even practice on it, or to expound on it, then they are committing a grave crime and a grave error. It is not jaiz for such people to be holding such positions, and such people have to be taken out from those positions so that it could be, those vacancies could be fulfilled by truthful and honest people who could establish the haqq, expound the haqq, and propagate the haqq. I'm very sorry for being so clear, so frank on such an issue. Unfortunately, the issue of the moon has been, to a large extent, withheld, the haqq of it has been withheld by irresponsible people. Such people need to fear Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, fear the day of Akhirat, fear the day when we're going to stand before Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, and when they stand before Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, what answer will they give to Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala? While holding such a position, why did they not assist haqq to come to the fore? This issue needs to be examined from two dimensions. One is that the ulama who understand the issue, but due to circumstances they are being suppressed by the people that they are closely associated with. In such a situation, it is compulsory upon the ulama to make the sacrifice and not look at their interest, look at the interest of deen, shariat and ummat and haqq, make the sacrifice and expound the haqq. The rest of it leave it in the hands of Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. The trustees are not the one to give rozi to the ulama. Allah gives rozi to the ulama. Efforts have been exhausted from many, many directions and in many, many ways. Not now, but from a very, very long time. I recall reading some articles of where this issue was taken up by a very world-renowned alim, Hazrat Maulana Sayyid Abul Hasan Nadwi, rahmatullahi alayhi rahmatan wasi'a. He was such a personality that had a great impact on the Indo-Pak ulama and among the Arab ulama. And even the Arab ulama, to a large extent, believe that in the Arab world, he has brought about a revolution. He has such an impact in the Arab world. And he himself clearly stated that the criteria that is set down by the Arab ulama or by the Arabs on this particular issue is absolutely incorrect, and he would try to use his influence on trying to correct them, but unfortunately he has also failed. But while those efforts have been taken place and they have failed on that, there should be more efforts in trying to correct the people. And right now, while previously the Indo-Pak ulama have tried, but right now there's a great revolution among the Arab ulama, and we hope, inshallah, this will one day materialize in something that is correct and the truth. My dear brothers and respected elders, we need to be very careful when we take out anything from our mouth. Perchance a word of kufr comes out from our mouth. This is an issue where Hazrat Maulana Ayyub Surti Madazilluhu Al-Ali, he has mentioned to us that فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. If you don't know an issue, don't comment on it. Ask those who know about it. When effort is being made to establish haqq, and if you regard that establishing haqq as fitna, then let me ask you a few questions and analogize on that. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was faced with so much of fitna of his time, kufr and shirk and everything. He went out and he propagated haqq. And he was faced with so much of opposition. People even told Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that he is bringing about division. Division in the entire Arab Peninsula. In almost every family, somebody Muslim, somebody non-Muslim. Now, if Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam establishing haqq, would one term that as fitna? Astaghfirullah. My dear brothers and respected elders, we need to measure our words. Perchance some word of kufr comes out from our mouth, and we need to repeat our kalima and strengthen, and we need to renew our iman. To establish a sunnah of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is greatly emphasized by Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. In fact, this is not only a sunnah, this is a faraz upon us. Even if we regard it to be a sunnah, then Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam emphasized that if a sunnah has died in my ummah, those people that make an effort, those people that make a sacrifice to establish a sunnah that has been dead, obviously people in that line is going to face great opposition because of the qurbani, because of the sacrifice. You understood the truth, you understood the haqq, you know that is the right thing, but somebody in the family will not be happy. Your friends will not be happy. Some people that you associated with, they may not be happy. But you understand the truth and haqq, and you stand at the haqq, you'll get a lot of opposition. But for that opposition, the sacrifice that you make to stand on the haqq and propagate the haqq, Allah Ta'ala will reward you the reward of 100 shuhada and 100 martyrs in the path of Allah Ta'ala.
If we have been following Saudi for all these years, what now do we have to do Qadar Roza?
Yes, Qadar Roza has to.
And yet the local masjid does not follow the Sharia correctly. Who should one follow?
Obviously, the answer is so obvious. When you yourself say that that masjid does not follow the Sharia, as a Muslim we have to follow Sharia.